Welcome to Parallel Worlds. Let's start the podcast the way we always do. A 5-minute free write, or free record, reflecting on your circumstances. How's it going for you today? What is on your mind? Where are you escaping to at the moment? What do you want more than anything right now? The same rules apply as every day. You have 5 minutes. You've got to keep the pen or whatever you're using moving. Don't stop to question if what you're writing or recording or drawing is good or bad. Just let it flow. If you come to the end of the 5 minutes and want to carry on, then just go with it. Pause the podcast and let your thoughts spill out. This exercise really is for you. I will be back in 5 minutes. Until then, you're on your own. Let's go. Welcome back again. I hope you are enjoying this self-reflection. Have you noticed any changes over the weeks? Have you opened up or closed down? Do you find yourself running down the same track every single day? Is it easier than when you started? Have you felt the urge to take something you've written and edit it, turn it into something else? Has it made you want to write or draw or paint or make a film? This makes me think, who are you? Maybe we've met, maybe we haven't. Maybe you present a different image to some people in your life to the image you present to others. Maybe you go about your life being completely the same in front of everyone, or maybe you swap characteristics in and out as it suits you. I'm talking about this because this course is designed for designers and artists. We present images of ourselves to the world all the time, and professionally, we quite often go to great lengths to form the image people will see of us. The British artist Grayson Perry talked about this in the third of 4 Wreath lectures he gave for the BBC in 2013. The question that Grayson Perry was asking was, how do we, as artists, shape the image people have of us? We're all familiar with that illusion of artists being rarefied souls, these tortured outsiders who need inner turmoil in order to produce their work. Does that sound like you? Grayson Perry talks about Alan Caprow, the man who came up with the idea of the happening, a guy who was a big name in 1950s avant-garde scene. In 1964, Caprow wrote a book called The Artist as Man of the World, in which he claimed that artists aren't just these tortured souls, they're really just skilled workers. His claim is sort of a tease to the industry. He was poking fun at that image of the tortured outsider artist, saying that we all want the same as any other skilled workers, a nice house, meetings with colleagues, self-improvement, and that kind of thing. At about the same time, Alan Caprow was writing his book, The Artist as Man of the World. A new and influential artist was emerging in the same city, New York. Bob Dylan was a folk singer who came to prominence in the early 1960s, playing clubs and festivals and so on. There's a great documentary about Bob Dylan made by Martin Scorsese called No Direction Home, and it's about Bob Dylan's early years. There are 5 or 6 different people interviewed in the film, and each one of them gives a different rumour about Dylan's origins. There was this air of mystique around him. If you watch the film, he told so many different people different stories about his origins. He told somebody that he had learnt guitar from somebody else riding in a boxcar from Mexico. He told various people he was born in one place or another, or that he knew this person or that person. Of course, this was probably a lot easier in the 1960s, pre-internet. But the power of the origin story still persists, and those stories are still told about him. In fact, I would go so far as to say the origin story is one of the main stories that we have. We're faced with endless films, books, and elements of popular fiction that present origin stories. This person came from that place against all odds. They're now really successful. This person was a misjudged genius. They were out of place and out of time. You'll never guess how this person came to be the person they are today. That kind of thing. We will talk about the role of origin stories a bit more in the final weeks of this course, when we're talking about how to use the things we've learnt to frame your own practice. But for today, I would like you to spend 10 minutes, that is longer than we normally spend on one of these exercises, writing origin stories for an artist. They can be an artist of any genre, a musician, a painter, a writer, a director, a collective of knitters, a sculptor who lives in the woods and only comes out on a Thursday, whatever you like. You can write about yourself, or a friend, or someone you admire, or someone you hate. You can just make people up, as if they're characters in a book. But I would like you to list as many intriguing origin stories as you can in 10 minutes. What hooks make a character more intriguing? What motives might they have for pursuing and perfecting their art? Perhaps they come from a really repressive place, and they found their true identity in a tolerant metropolis. Perhaps their grandfather taught them a precious art before he died mysteriously, and the artist practices to keep a culture alive. Perhaps many things. Take elements from your favourite artists, or fictional characters if you need to. If you find one who's particularly interesting, come back to them after the exercise and flesh out their story a little bit more. But for now, loosen up your mind. 10 minutes to devise a huge list of artistic backstories starting now. Welcome back, and thank you for listening this far. How was that? Looking back over your list, do any of those stories stand out? What did you learn about what's interesting in origin stories? Did you find yourself repeating at all? Did you stay in a time or a place? Did you flesh out a whole town of people? Or did you flip from era to era and place to place? How specific are the things that you listed? Did you find yourself following a particular pattern? This person came from that place because they did this thing and that thing, perhaps. Please do let me know how you got on via the voice messages. Keep hold of this writing as well. You will need it for later exercises. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourself, and I will be back tomorrow.